वनचारी यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजय कशाश स्तोत्र शति डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बेबी फाउंडर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन गुरु वृंद की जय। श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताय गौप्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। So we are continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6, Purusha Shakta confirmed. Today we are going to read verse 38. ओम अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यस्यावतार कर्माणि गायन्ति हि अस्मद् आदय न यं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः। यस्यावतार कर्माणि गायन्ति हि अस्मदादय नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः। यस्यावतार कर्माणि गायन्ति हि अस्मदादय नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः। यस्य अवतार कर्माणि गायन्ति हि अस्मदादय नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः। यस्य अवतार कर्माणि गायन्ति हि अस्मदादयः नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः। यस्य अवतार कर्माणि गायन्ति अस्मदादयः नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः। यस्य अवतार कर्माणि गायन्ति अस्मदादयः नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः। यस्य अवतार कर्माणि गायन्ति अस्मदादयः नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः। यस्य अवतार कर्माणि गायन्ति हि अस्मदादयः नायं विदन्ति तत्त्वेन तस्मै भगवते नमः। Today is actually Ram's class. Every time Ram goes and hides away, he won't come until 6:30. Okay. Yasya, whose avatara, incarnation, karmani, activities, gayanti, chanting glorification, he indeed, asmad adayaha, persons like us, na, do not, yam, whom, vidanti, no, tatvena, 100% as he is, tasmai, unto him, bhagavate, unto the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, namaha, respectful obeisances. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose incarnation and activities are chanted by us for glorification, though he can hardly be fully known as he is. तो ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं नारद को, कभी कभी पहले बता दिया ब्रह्मा जी कि पूरा बात भगवान के बारे में समझ नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि भगवान अनलिमिटेड है। तो बोले हम लोग कौन सी करो, भगवते नमः, लेट अस ऑफर रिस्पेक्टफुल ओबेसेंसेस। और जिसके वो भगवान जिसका जो अवतार है और एक्टिविटीज है, अवतार यस्य अवतार कर्माणी, सो इनकारनेशंस एंड एक्टिविटीज हम लोगन के चेंट करे के है फॉर ग्लोरिफिकेशन ऑफ द लॉर्ड। तो वी विल नॉट बी एबल टू फुली नो कृष्णा, बट वी कंटिन्यू टू ग्लोरीफाई हिम। तो वो भी एक ग्लोरी है कि भगवान अनलिमिटेड है ना, कोई के महानता है। जैसे कभी कोई रहे कोई के बहुत बड़ा नाम है ना, तो जस्ट अमेज्ड। तो कृष्ण इज अनलिमिटेड, सो वी लेट्स जस्ट बी अमेज्ड एट दैट। कृष्ण इज अनलिमिटेड, दो ही कैन हार्डली बी फुली नोन एज ही इज। तो प्रॉपर्ट में प्रभुपाद जी बोले, इट इज सेड that the transcendental name, form, quality, pastimes, paraphernalia, personality, etc. cannot possibly be perceived by the gross materialistic senses. तो भौतिक इंद्रियों से नहीं परसीव कर पाएगा हम लोग, न नाम, न फॉर्म, न क्वालिटी, न पास टाइम, न पैराफर्नेलिया, न पर्सनैलिटी। भगवान के पैराफिनेलिया में one of the paraphernalia is books, shastras. तो ग्रॉस मटेरियलिस्टिक सेंसेस से हम लोग नहीं समझ पाएगा कि हम लोग स्क्रिप्चर एवरीडे पे नित्यम भागवत सेवा एवरीडे पढ़ेगा, कैसे इसके इफेक्ट हुआ, या कैसे हम लोग श्रवणम कीर्तनम करता है तो कैसे इसके इफेक्ट हुआ, ग्रॉस मटेरियल सेंसेस से नहीं जान पाएगा. तो अनलेस एंड अनटिल somebody dives into it, that reminds me one example Prabhupada gives na, कि there's a bottle of honey. How tasty the honey is, even if you lick the bottle you can't know. You have to uncap it, dip your finger into the honey and lick it, then you. So bhaktya mam abhijanati. Unless and until you dive into the practices, then only you can experience Krishna. Otherwise from externally you will not be able to. But when the senses are purified by the process of hearing, chanting, remembering and worshipping the lotus feet of the holy deity, etc., the Lord reveals Himself proportionately to the advancement of the quality of devotional service. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. So, four points Prabhupada has mentioned here. Number one, the senses have to be purified. What's the purificatory process? The 9 process of devotional service. Right? Then the Lord will reveal Himself. Actually 5 points. So then the Lord will, this is His choice to reveal. Then He will reveal Himself proportionately. And that proportion is determined by quality of devotional service. So in the beginning when we joined Krishna consciousness, let's go for quantity, we have to do 16 rounds to be initiated. So once we get initiated, then we start. First what we do, we maintain the 16 rounds. Then comes a stage, a year or two later. It shouldn't take more than that. But generally, it's taking more. But, generally in 12, 24 months, 2 years time, then the spiritual master must see that there is sufficient seriousness and sincerity in the disciple. Then the spiritual master awards him the Gayatri Mantra as the second initiation, so that he can study the Bhagavatam. Why you need second initiation to study the Bhagavatam? Also Prabhupada had made it very generous that he has given us all the books so we can study it. However, in a Vedic tradition, one gets Brahman initiation to study Bhagavatam because the very first verse of Bhagavatam is Gayatri Mantra. It says Dhimahi. So that's the Gayatri. So, and also like in terms of Gayatri, common people only know the Brahma Gayatri, so everyone knows Om Bhurbhuva Swaha, that one. But there are various types of Gayatri Mantra, just like in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, in line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have the Gopal Mantra, we have the Guru Gayatri, we have the Gaur Gayatri, Kam Gayatri, so that's how our tradition, our disciplic succession works. So, again here the quality of devotional service. So, wonderful point. So, sometime in the beginning it's Adau Shraddha, little faith. What is the little faith for? That the 9 process of devotional service is going to purify the senses. So, just engage in the 9 process of devotional service. You might understand it, you might not understand it. That is why devotees go on Harinam, we're distributing books, we're distributing prasadam. This is 9 process of devotional. Just somehow or the other get it to the people, knowingly, unknowingly. Even when they take prasadam, the purification starts. Even if they hear the devotees doing Harinam Sankirtan on the street, the purification starts. A very nice thing I was remembering the other day. Even like, we have the Hare Krishna radio program. So, sometime we may be thinking, it's not that, 3-4 radio programs and the temple is full of devotees. No, it's Agyat Sukriti. The seed is planted and then it depends on how difficult the heart is. The seed will take a little bit of time to germinate. But the planting has to be done. So, that 9 process of devotional service, and then of course, every time we read the other day also, Krishna sometimes reveals Himself, then increases your eagerness, then He disappears, then He does something else and then increases your... So, Krishna is revealing Himself. And then, of course, the quality of devotional service. What is the main quality of devotional service? I was just meditating on this when we were talking about the quality of devotional service. I know when we say quality of devotional service, so generally we will say that quality of devotional service is avoiding the 10 offenses. How much love? faith, the mood of surrender. Actually, the quality of devotional service, from one perspective, it's my realization. I was thinking, if you read all the scriptures, everywhere, actually the real quality of devotional service is how best one can relate with the devotees of the Lord. Of course, every one of you have said the right thing, the mood, the love, the faith and everything. But the love also, how we relate with the devotees becomes the first expression of love for Krishna. So if you can love the devotees, you can love Krishna. If you have faith in the devotees, you have faith in the spiritual master, that means you can trust Krishna. And also the mood. The mood is also covered there. So if you have a serving mood, what is the mood to the devotees? Always serving the devotees. If you can serve the devotees, you can serve Krishna. This is very, very critical. The other day we were discussing, last night after the class, I was thinking that, of course, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we fully understand that the goal of everything is to give pleasure to Krishna. But understanding what gives pleasure to Krishna is giving pleasure and service to the devotees. So sometimes, we'd simply put all the focus on serving Krishna and then not serving the devotees, then actually your devotional progress will not be speedy. It's very, very important. So, Prabhupada is worshipped. Prabhupada never claims himself to be Krishna, God. He encourages service of Krishna. But all the service to Krishna goes through Srila Prabhupada. Just like, one interesting thing, when we opened the temple, then you see that on Gondete altar we have Prabhupada. Then on Radha Golok Bihari altar we have picture of Prabhupada. And on Sitaram altar we have picture of Prabhupada. So when the pujaris are serving, 3 pujaris are serving, so everyone offers it through their spiritual master. Of course, you have the picture of the spiritual master. Then after spiritual master, it has to go through Prabhupada. So there is nothing that is possible without the devotees. So Prabhupada is the Param Vaishnava, so it's not possible. So the real quality of devotional service, how can you know you are doing the high quality of, even the other day, Krishna Maharaj was giving the Vyasa Puja message. Basically he talked about Jiva Daya, Nama Ruchi and Vaishnav Seva. So Vaishnav Seva is what will really determine the quality of your devotional service. All the time. Without Vaishnavas, because the scriptures also say, the birthplace of bhakti is sadhu sangha. We get the seed of devotional service from the sadhus. Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro tomara sakati. Ache Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Krishna is in the power, within the power of the devotees. So very, very good perspective to realize that, quality of devotional service is dependent on how we are able to relate with other devotees. One should not expect the Lord to be an order supplying agent who must be present before us as soon as we desire to see Him. Another very nice point. So, you cannot see Krishna as per your desire. Krishna is the order supplier. You are in difficulty and you say, Krishna, you have to talk to me today. You have to talk to me today. Sometimes Krishna will just disappoint you. Krishna will say, I want to let you know I am the boss. We should not, before us as we desire, we must be ready to undergo the prescribed devotional duties, following the path shown by the predecessors in the disciplic succession from Brahma, Narad and Simla authorities. So what is the example being shown here in this verse, in today's verse by Narad and Brahmaji? He is saying, Brahmaji is saying, by us, activities are chanted by us for glorification. So we simply, chant Krishna's name, chant Krishna's pastime for his glorification. We want to glorify him. So, as the senses are progressively purified by bona fide devotional service. Very important. Very important point. And I know Visvanath Prabhu is very fond of this thing. That we must follow bona fide processes. If we don't follow, we cannot manufacture our own ways of, doing devotional service, which may seemingly it's worshipping Krishna and all these things, but if it's not bona fide, then you cannot expect the progress that is expected of you. Because, we are trapped in a very short time. We have a challenging time. So we need to make progress very quickly. So bona fide devotional service. The Lord reveals His identity according to the spiritual advancement of the devotee. So what is bona fide devotional service? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bona fide devotional service, the 5 processes, sadhu sangha. We must always be in association with devotees. Bhagavad Shravan, always reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sometimes we become very interested in, studying all vast Vedic literatures, for better knowledge. Bhagavatam is sufficient. Bhagavatam is the scripture for Kali Yuga. So that's it. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Chittamrita. That's what Bhaktisnasa Thakur said we need to do. And? Murti Seva. So Murti Seva, Prabhupada said very nicely in Pancharatra Pradeep, we worship the deities in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan. Even if it is Krishna on the altar, we worship Krishna with awe and reverence. You just can't, you become a pujari, you go on the altar and say, oh, Krishna is my lover, I go and kiss the deity. No, we do it awe and reverence. So we must always, awe and reverence means, respect. So just like you go to the deity room, you do your archman. You ring the bell at the door. You go there, offer your prayers to Srila Prabhupada. Then Bhakti Siddhanta. First, every pujari, when they go on the altar, they first enter the deity room. It's out of respect. So you enter the deity room, right foot first. Then you go to Prabhupada. Then you Bhakti Siddhanta. Then you do all the pranams. And then you, whatever, you're doing arti or dressing or anything like that. So you must, when it is respect, just like, Fijian ceremony is happening. So you have to bow down, chilo. Like that. So awe and reverence is like that. So spiritual master also, we deal with awe and reverence, because we all know it is an offense to consider spiritual master, not to follow the instructions of spiritual master and consider an ordinary person. So sometimes we consider an ordinary person. They say, no, Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj didn't understand this. So we just got to be careful. So, bona fide reveals the identity according to spiritual. But one who is not in the line of devotional service can hardly perceive him simply by calculations and philosophical speculations. Such a hard worker can present a jugglery of words before an audience, but he can never know the personality of Godhead in his personal feature. So, शब्द के प्रभाव से we can make people cry, we can make people laugh, we can transport people into spiritual, like that. But you will not be able to give Krishna to the people. Prabhupada didn't do all those things, yet Prabhupada gave Krishna to people. So sometimes we also have to be careful. What we need to be careful, that sometimes, trying to use very many via mediums, you just got to be very careful that you don't dilute it. Just like, flicking lights, it's got very low energy, it comes. But at Diwali, it's very popular, it's jagmag kar raha hai, attraction, everyone gets attracted, it's very nice. But there is no long-term sustainability. Every Diwali you have to buy a new light. The other one, you're just keeping it there, it just goes bad. So, point is that, no matter how hard we may approach the other ways, but simply, we just need to follow in the footsteps of the Acharyas. They have set what needs to be done. If we do that, and we've seen, so many times we've seen, so many people, we may do so many other things, but those people who fall in line with the process that Prabhupada has given, how Prabhupada has given, and I always like this point, and I always hear Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, he's a very staunch, like within ISKCON, we have all different schools of thoughts now. So some people are very staunch, very rigid, maybe you can say almost fanatic, and the others are quite liberal. So Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is more of a hardliner. So he says, we may attract so many people with so many material allurements, but ultimately when they come to realize that Krishna consciousness is about pure devotional service, they will leave. So he said, why waste your energy about all these things? In the beginning tell them this is pure devotional service. If they are here to stay, they will stay. Otherwise, they will not waste our time. Quite a hard line. It's a very difficult one. Even for me to digest, it's a bit difficult. I can be apply a little bit of diplomacy. But, by tattva, it does make sense. By tattva, it does make sense. Because sometimes, even in the association of devotees, whilst the association of the devotees are to purify the contaminated senses, the desires, sometimes, some people are very severe diseased case, then, the doctors will just have to say, take them home and save them. That means they're going to die. So like that in Krishna consciousness. So we can't hold everyone. Some people will go away. Nothing to, it's Krishna is the boss, Krishna's will. Krishna does not change the rule in terms of, a quality of devotional service, ye yatha mam prapadyante. He doesn't do that. It's the devotees who are more merciful than Krishna. So Prabhupada said, anyone and everyone, I will give a chance. But giving a chance does not mean everyone will get the correct answer. Everyone will be successful. There will be some failures. So that's all right. But the point is, no matter how hard we can present by jugglery of word before audience, but can never know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord has clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita that one can know Him only by devotional service. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. There is no other process. Only by devotional service you can know Krishna. No one can know the Lord by any puffed up material process of challenge. Devotional service is a very humble situation. So if somebody says, well, I don't think it's a good idea to do, and then you say, no, I'm going to challenge it to do it. I'm doing it for Krishna and I'll make it happen. Immediately, your intelligence is contaminated. And immediately your intelligence is contaminated. Even competing with devotees means you become contaminated. So you can't take a puffed up material process of challenge. But the humble devotee can please the Lord by his earnest devotional service. Just do sincerely. We may not be able to do as much as Jaram Prabhu, or we may not be able to do as Guru Seva, or you may not be able to do as Vaikuntha Mataji, or you may not be able to do as Ditesh. That's alright. There's no difficulty. Just be sincere in your situation. Whatever you can do, but do it at the max. It's like, yesterday Reshmi was saying, the bucket is full, we are going to put in more and more and more. Actually, you tight fit it, that's the sincerity. Then Krishna will see that you are sincere, you want this thing. But we cannot say, Rai Ram is doing 100 books a Saturday. So, if I am able to do one only, I am very disappointed because I am not able to do 100. He gets more mercy and I like that. If we say, Vamsi Vadan Prabhu does, 2 cartons of Bhagavad Gita every week, he's doing it, he's fully surrendered, he's doing it every day. But others may be working a job and this and that, family, all this entanglement. But so much earnest desire, to do book distribution, so take our time. We should, give the due credit where it belongs. So, I see example of, Aryamani Mataji. She has this thing in her that, book distribution should happen. So sometimes, she'll take 1 book, 2 book, 3 books, and I remember she would sometimes just go to the Suva bus stand and try and just give 1 book because, she wants to fulfill the service of book distribution. So that's earnest, that's sincere. So this will be as good as the 100 books that's being done by the full-time devotee. That's the sincerity. So you don't have to look at the quantity. Oh, this devotee has done 1000 Bhagavad Gita, I will do 1000 Bhagavad Gita too. The 1000 can be equal to just one Bhagavad Gita because it's been done with so much sincerity. So that is the most important point. The humble devotee can please the Lord by his earnest devotional service. Thus the Lord reveals himself proportionately before the devotee. So that's why, proportionately. So sometimes, just taking the example again, so somebody does 100 Bhagavad Gita and somebody does 1000. So it's just like that, somebody comes here and gives $100,000 donation, but he's a multimillionaire. But somebody comes here and gives, $10, but he's only earning $100. So who is given more? So the same principle applies in the proportionate revelation. So the one who is giving $100,000 might not be able to see Krishna. He just get a glimpse of Krishna. Just one flower fall from the head. But the one who is given $10 out of the $100, Krishna might come and stand before and say, wink at that person. So that's the proportionate. That's the proportion. We don't calculate proportion by material. Material, it may not be, somebody is, 50 years here in Krishna consciousness and they are proportionately more advanced than. No, there may be 50 years here, but in terms of surrender, somebody come like, detached Goswami. Then you are fully, you can fully connect with Krishna easily. So, thus the Lord reveals himself proportionately before the devotee. Lord Brahma therefore offers his respectful obeisances as a bona fide spiritual master and advises us to follow the process of Shravan and Kirtan. So that verse is talking about Shravan and Kirtan. He said, let us chant for glorification. If not for anything else, just for glorifying Krishna, we should do that. Simply by this process or simply by hearing and chanting the glories of the activities of the Lord's incarnation, one can certainly see within himself the identity of the Lord. So simply by the process you will be able to see. We have already discussed this subject in volume 1 of Srimad Bhagavatam in connection to this verse. Tat Shraddha Dhana Munayo Jnana Vairaga Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmani Cha Atmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya. Bhagavatam 1-12. The conclusion is that one cannot know the Supreme Personality of Godhead fully by any method, but he can be seen and felt partially by devotional process of hearing, chanting, etc. So 9 process of devotional service, partially you will be able to. So even if you don't try that, then forget about even knowing Krishna partially. So fully is not possible. But the good news is, even knowing Krishna partially, you can go back home, back to Godhead. You don't have to be 100% before you go back home, back to Godhead. So that's the good news. So all we need to do is just keep engaging ourselves in hearing, chanting, as much as possible. As much as possible. So we just have to understand that. Hear always, chant always. Hare Krishna. So 1-2 minutes. Yes, Hare Krishna.
So that's why the preaching mission that Srila Prabhupada has done for us. But when I'm reading about Jai Bharat, so he's a very learned person, but he acts dumb or deaf and like a madman. So he's not doing it out for instructions he make over it. After instructions they are made for it. So that's who so why is he's not giving mercy?
Why is he not giving mercy? No, he is giving mercy. Huh? Maharaj Rahugan, yeah. Yeah, to Maharaj Rahugan, Jad Bharat spoke. So Maharaj, so
But before then he was like hiding himself. Right?
yes.
Become like loudest man.
Yes. Uh-huh. But see, there's a very, very important message for devotees in that. Number one, it relates to 3 lifetimes, right? Maharaj Bharat, and then the Diya, and then Jad Bharat. So that's one thing. Number 2 thing is, I can understand, like, when we are all new devotees, we are very, very enthusiastic. We are very enthusiastic to give Krishna consciousness to others. But see, what we are reading in the Bhagavatam today, and many times we have read it, actually a pure devotee, of course we are saying, they spread Krishna consciousness, but really the process is, you don't sort of reveal your state of pure devotional service. So here the lesson from Jad Bharat was that he was at the stage of bhava from which he fell down. He is an advanced devotee. Advanced devotee is shy about his Krishna consciousness. He doesn't want to reveal. So your question is, he should be preaching because he knew. He was not preaching because he knew that I fell down. See, for our situation, we become new devotees. Of course, and everyone should be encouraged to preach. We should preach. But sometimes we become overzealous. We forget that I am conditioned. I have to chant my rounds. I have to associate with devotees. I have to read Bhagavad and everything. So sometimes, in Prabhupada's time also, some devotees, they were big distributors. But when Prabhupada left this world, they fell down. So then they tried to find out what happened. They distributed so many books, but they never read one. So it's the Guru saying, oh yeah, very nice, 100 books, you can do 1,000, you can do 100,000, That's the driving force for the disciple. But where is the internal depth? While the spiritual master is saying, you have done 100, you can do 1,000. The spiritual master is not saying, give up chanting, give up your Mangalarti, give up your sadhana, give up. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Janma sarthak kari kar parupakar. So it's good, we are even sometimes, like look at Prabhupada. In the early days when Prabhupada received instruction from a spiritual master, Prabhupada was busy, maybe mentally he was meditating and preparing and everything. And the Gaudiya Math, other brahmacharis were saying, Abhay Babu, he's not doing anything, he's gotten the instruction and he should move into the ashram. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur was saying, leave him alone. When he was 70, explosion, bigger than the ashram. Just, it was volcanic explosion like that. So like that, yeah. So it's not that every devotee, preaching does not mean simply, become active, give things, you start giving. Preaching also means to develop your acharan. So sometimes, there will be a sort of, calm period. Just like a tsunami or something, or a hurricane. Before the main hurricane hits, first there is calmness. Or even before the tsunami happens, there's all of a sudden there is very calm sea. Then it erupts. So that calm situation is the internal meditation, the preparation of our own self into solid Krishna consciousness. So we must always think, every day we must think. We are doing so much service, if we are not deriving blessings from or we are not feeling energized, or we are not able to attract other people to do that, we must sit back and reflect that actually I have to improve my quality. That's why it's not passing on. So at every stage, whole Krishna conscious stage, we should always think. The temple should think, the temple management should think, the devotees should think, the pujaris should think. Every day reflect. If we are saying, we have lack of pujaris, then we must think, there's something lacking in us which is not able to give out this mercy. So you have to develop this thing. Prabhu want to say something?
He was preaching by example.
Yeah, he was preaching.
And lastly, he preached to Rogan, and that preaching is for all of us.
Yeah. Another good point, yeah. So, example, maybe we are focused on he only preached to Rogan because when he spoke, But no, not always only speaking is preaching. Another good point actually. Example is also preaching. So you come to the temple, you see some devotee very nicely chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna. He may not be preaching to anyone, but somebody will become attracted. The pujaris are only decorating the deities and it appears, they are not doing the Bhagavatam class. No, the beautiful decoration attracts someone's mind. Hare Krishna, so we'll stop now. The deities are waiting. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, come. Jai Shri Shri Gaurnita. Krishna